If you think that these games that are being played right now are just going to subside, why? Because you're in the game? Because you're here? Because we're creating this amazing world with Bitcoin? You got to pull your head out of where the sun doesn't shine and understand what the real game is here. The real game is secure as much Bitcoin as possible at almost any cost. Basically, if we can't get caught for it, we got to do it. Because we are talking about the hardest asset humanity has ever seen. And these asset managers, their entire job and life purpose is to look at the data and put their clients in an advantage. Everyone's wondering who is this 100 Bitcoin a day purchaser that's coming around. I think it could be BlackRock. Because in 2022, BlackRock launched, and I've said this on my channel, which is why I want you to subscribe so you understand how the game is actually being played, not just the happy hippie way that everyone else in Bitcoin wants to imagine the game is being played. This is a ruthless game, and the game is your Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin in my wallet. That's the game. And so everyone's wondering who's this 100 Bitcoin a day purchaser and this, that, and the other. And the reality is this could be BlackRock. Because in 2022, they set up their own internal GBTC type fund to secure Bitcoin for their clients. And now this Bitcoin has, this fund has almost, or this wallet address has almost 56,000 Bitcoin. Why can't it be BlackRock? I'm not saying it is, but why can't it be BlackRock for operating for their highest net worth clients? You really, right now everyone's like super excited because Bitcoin's becoming mainstream and this, that, and the other. But you've got to pull your head out your ass because the game has now become more dangerous. Because we're now entering the big numbers arena. We're now entering the period where retail, you and I, right? People are operating on our level, right? Let's say up to $100 million. Are going to absolutely shit themselves if you see a Bitcoin crash from 100,000 to 80,000. And the institutions are going to look at that and go, holy shit, that was only a 20% dip, not the usual 35. The game is changing here. And it's important to understand that, and it's important to adapt to that. The happy hippies are going to be the first ones to get their Bitcoin taken because they're going to get to a point, they're going to be given the incentives. I don't care how tough a happy hippie talks. They are going to be given the right incentive at the right time to let go of that Bitcoin, and they're going to do it. It's just as simple as that. I don't care how fancy they want to talk on Twitter. I don't care how many times they want to call me, names for supporting the ETF and whatever. They are going to give up their Bitcoin, right? It's just the system that you are now working in, the system that has now got its tentacles and claws into acquiring as much Bitcoin as possible is relentless. They don't stop. 24/7. At this point in time, based on all the firms that are involved, there's probably 700 to 1,000 professional nerds whose entire life purpose on a $300,000 a year basic salary, their entire life purpose is to secure your Bitcoin in their wallet. That is who you're now up against. This is no longer, oh, look, I told the person down the street and they bought Bitcoin. You're not up against those people anymore. These are ruthless killers in the asset management business. And they are going to take your Bitcoin no matter what it takes. Now, the good thing about Bitcoin is there's a finite supply. So when there's a finite supply of an asset, you can only screw around for too long before you just have to go buy in the market. And we've seen that because as we started seeing the purchases run out and the price start running because the supply was getting tight, the flows increased. As soon as the games are in town, the boys are here. As soon as the boys are in town, you're about to lose your Bitcoin. That's how this works. And this would have happened in any market. And guess what? I would be doing the exact same thing. If I was leading the desk at BlackRock trying to figure out how do we secure Bitcoin at the lowest cost possible, I'd be doing the exact same thing. Because at the end of the day, it's a zero-sum game. I don't care how happy hippie you want to look at this world and it comes to Bitcoin. It's a zero-sum game. 21 million, that's it. Oh, this person doesn't respect the fact that this is a monetary network. Let's take their Bitcoin. Simple as that. And a lot of people are going to sit here and go, oh my God, but it's not about the number going up. It's not about the amount of Bitcoin you have. get fucked. It is. That's what it's about. The number going up is the single most important thing to Bitcoin in its current phase. Why? Because the number going, if you want to see good things happen in the world with Bitcoin, the number has to go up. Because the number going up incentivizes more action, more attention, and more innovation in the space to allow the world to start using more Bitcoin. And you owning a piece while that number goes up determines how influential you will be in that network. There is never going to be a day where MicroStrategy is less influential in the world than me. They own significantly more Bitcoin than I do, right? Same thing as Michael Saylor. If Michael Saylor was to leave MicroStrategy one day, MicroStrategy would be significantly more influential than Michael Saylor. Why? Because MicroStrategy owns more Bitcoin than Michael Saylor. This is the game that we live in now, and you got to get your head together, because these types of events over the last week are going to happen. And the number one thing that's going to keep you in the game is your psychology to understand what you own. If you don't understand that, you are going to get your Bitcoin taken at some point, because they're going to give you $500,000 for it, and you're just going to give it up going, oh, I'll buy a house because I'm done. And that's when Bitcoin's going to go to $5 million. Keep your head out of your ass in the game, subscribe to the channel, and stay focused on what's going on, because the game is completely and utterly changing at this point. And the one thing I don't want to see is put their neck on the line, got their Bitcoin, and then they get scared out of the game because now Larry's involved, right? I don't want you to get Larried. So subscribe to the channel, and ultimately, despite all these games, there are always only 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.